Lots of bees all over the place this morning. They're not your typical normal honeybee, but they're obviously some kind of bee. They seem to be a bit bigger. A bit of color in them. I don't know if we'll catch them in the camera because they're moving pretty fast. Just found a big piece of glass there. It's such a pity. People leave garbage. Amazing. Amazing. Well, today we have a very interesting process going on where God tells Jeremiah to go down to the potter's house, to the potter's shop, where his workshop, where he has that big wheel turning around, and his fingers and hands are caked in the clay. We have that beautiful hymn, you are the potter, we are the clay. And with these metaphors, just like when God says he is the shepherd and we are the sheep, it doesn't mean we are sheep. It means there's a lesson to be learned about how the good shepherd provides for the sheep. And the sheep are very dependent on the shepherd for their life, for their protection, for their nourishment. If they hurt a leg, if something catches in their hoof, or it breaks, and the shepherd can have a good knife with him and pare off the hoof. How many times I did that at home as a young lad on the farm. So when the scripture says God is the shepherd and we are the sheep, then it's not calling us sheep. But there are some similarities that are very telling and very moving for our soul and our heart, for understanding our relationship with God. And the same goes here with the potter and the clay. Exact same. Doesn't mean that we are inert clay, but it could mean that we have a wonderful, loving God who shapes our lives. You know, we have that parable of the talents. To one he gave 10, another 5, another 1. Doesn't matter the amount. What matters is, then how we work with that. But here the lesson then from Jeremiah is that God has an amazing role in our lives. An amazing role. And to pay attention to that role, amazing creator role. He shapes us. His providence, the choice of our parents. We didn't choose them. The timing of our life. Some people might complain they didn't live in a different time. The circumstances of our life. I was fascinated reading that book a year ago about the friendship between Winston Churchill and Lloyd George. And Lloyd George came from a cobbler's house in Wales, you know, a meagre life. And Churchill came from one of the largest castles and heirlooms of England, an established family for centuries. So, you know, Churchill didn't decide that, and Lloyd George didn't decide that, and I didn't decide I'd be a farming boy. That was a given. There's so much given in our lives. And God's giving hasn't finished. And so we learn a beautiful dependence on God. I just noticed little critters here. Oh, there's a little fish. And they're wondering what I'm doing here in the water with them. They're about 3 inches long. I don't know if the camera can pick them up. There's one right there. And he's coming really curious. He hasn't seen a reality. There's 2 of them right there together. 3 of them. Wow, they're coming to check me out. They didn't see these white toes in the water before. They're very hypersensitive, but they also have great curiosity. Can you see them? They're coming in here in the water, and they're darting around. So God isn't finished with me yet, and I am in His hands. Obviously, there's a major aspect that's not covered in this parable, and that is our freedom. And the freedom we enjoy, because while we need to affirm the great gift that God is in our lives, the shaping gift, the molding gift, the creator, He also has endowed us with freedom. So He didn't make us like a tree. He didn't make us like those fish. He didn't make us like the mountain. He made us as human beings. And He saw it was very good. And He follows us like parents their little children, because that's another image He uses to express a relationship that transcends and goes far, far beyond parenthood. But parenthood is probably one of the closest relationship models, how we're related to God, how God is related to us. Another one is spousal relationship, that extraordinary love and mutual focus in facing life. But here we have today the potter and the clay, which emphasizes our dependence on God, that He's the primary giver, the creator of our lives. It would be a great advantage for a lot of people, for everybody, for all of us, to go deeper into that truth, especially people who are very negative about themselves. Maybe that comes from comparing with others. If comparing with others helps us to do better, then it's helpful for our maturity. But if it gets us upset, there's that Spanish proverb which says comparisons are odious, they're repugnant, they stink. So we have to be careful how we compare with others, because if jealousy enters and envy enters, then we're really in trouble. Why wasn't my window square and not semicircular? Why wasn't my tree eucalyptus and not a palm tree, or vice versa? Why do I have one brother, one sister, another person has 10? why is this person good at music and this other person, you know, all these type of comparisons. But on the other hand, if you see somebody playing music very well and you're in music, or you can learn music, or somebody learns music when they're 65 or 70 or whatever, and go for it, you know. But don't go negative over who you are. Don't try and change yourself if you're, you know, from Thailand and you say, okay, no, I prefer to be from Ireland. That's the real place you want to be from, you know. That's really secondary. The real big thing is that God created me and that He loves me and that He's given me beautiful gifts. If it's 1 talent or 10 talents, it doesn't matter. It's just how I use it, how I use the gifts God gave. And sometimes we have big setbacks in life and major calamities happen. I think I told you about the guy that was here in Magdala maybe 2 months ago. And he was born without arms or legs. And the guy has 4 million followers on YouTube. That's just like a marker of trying to say, well, he didn't get cowed down by his situation. He must have had wonderful parents. And obviously the grace of God. And those parents must have been prepared. Imagine the shock they had when he was born without legs or arms. But they had a preparation that they were able to deal with that. A grace in their hearts. They had their parents that trained them about the meaning of life. I am the potter, you are the clay. Don't take it into your hands to be the potter. On the other hand, you do have liberty. And you could develop art as a sculptor rather than as a painter. Of course, there's a wonderful field of liberty given to us. But there's also a great need to learn how much we have received. And since we saw the fish here this morning, there's a beautiful parable today. Well, beautiful, it's kind of a challenging parable. And it's similar to the ones we had with the weeds. There on Tuesday and a few days before that we had it announced, and then on Tuesday we had the explanation from Jesus himself. The dragnet that's thrown out and all the fish are hauled in and then they're sorted out at the end of the process. It's a parable for life. It doesn't mean that I'm a fish. It doesn't mean that God's going to knock me in the back of the head, toss me in this bucket or that bucket. No, it means that it's a mixed bag life. And we're going to be in the company of those who do good and do evil. And it's not for me to... That's God's work. God's work is the judgment. So at the beginning of my life, He's a potter. And at the end of my life, He is the judge. And in between, I'm swimming with all these fish in life. And circumstances can happen in life that change my lot in a way. Imagine parents who are entrusted with a child who is born without arms or legs. Then that changes their lives quite substantially. Or even their very first child. Because they have certain patterns of life and entertainment and activity when they're married and they don't have any child yet, and sometimes parents have to wait many years to have a child. That's also a circumstance. I am the potter, you are the clay. And then the circumstances change. Or let's say there's an accident and a spouse is taken away, or a child is taken away to eternal life. I am the potter, you are the clay. Or something out of our control completely, like COVID and the way politics handled it. And then you have issues of violence and people make decisions. I just got a note right now from somebody who was flights are cancelled because of the political situation that's here, and they didn't decide that, and we didn't decide that. It's out of our hands. But how to live with all of that? That great trust in God and His providence, and that great readiness to go forward, and there are many other parables to explain why we need to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world, and how we need to be the good Samaritan. So let's ask from one parable, one teaching, and so we have that there. This great trust in God, in the life that He has formed for me. Obviously, my life has also developed with my liberty, but the point it is the role God has in my life. So people, God bless you. See you later, alligators. Enjoy the day. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're in the winter, and we are here in the northern hemisphere, we're in the summer. And that's also something I can't change. I can't have winter conditions here right now. God is the potter, I'm the clay. So I'm going to live with this, and then I will respond in this circumstance. God bless you.